I measure the effectiveness of techniques not just by their outcomes, but how do they perform against people who are especially gifted or good at dealing with those sorts of techniques. For example, if I think somebody has a great jab and they go up against somebody who's well known for defending and countering jabs, but their jab is still dominant in that fight, that statement delivers a lot of information on just how powerful or effective that person's jab is. In this case, we have Jan, who's I think is one of the better leg kick defenders and checkers in the UFC. But in the UFC, there's a lot of debates over who's the best leg kicker. Even across history, you got Jose Aldo, and he's definitely in the conversation. People mention Justin Gaethje now, Edson Barbosa, Izzy. But right now, I think they're actively, I think there's one person who's cleanly taken the cake. And as you can tell by the title, I think that's Alex Pereira. That's my opinion. I'm not for certain, but that's what I think. I think he has the best leg kick in the UFC, and we'll go over why. And I choose to look at this fight versus Jan because he's a specialist in neutralizing leg kicks and checking them, which we've seen him go up against Izzy, who at the time was one of the best leg kickers, and he neutralized his game completely. So I know that we're dealing with somebody that can really handle leg kicks. Let's get to the first example. One of the things that makes this leg kick so unstoppable is, and you're gonna hear me compare it to a jab a lot because that's the closest thing I can think, is that he can be mid-stride like how he is right now, just gliding along, and then all of a sudden he just plants and boom, it comes out. And Jan, you'll see in a lot of these clips, Jan is doing a good job reacting to these. And so it's actually, he's one of the few people that can actually consistently or somewhat consistently defend Alex's kicks. And maybe I'll have to look at more film to say for sure, but I think I'm noticing a pattern where Alex, when he opens his hands, like right here, his hands open up. I think normally he's anticipating something, possibly setting the trap. And so he's going to step forward and he's going to elicit a reaction out of Jan, and then he's going to keep doing it until Jan gives him what he's looking for. And so as soon as Jan opens up, he sees that shoulder move. Jan is going to plant his foot to try and land the jab, but obviously when you plant that lead leg, it's open. And then when Alex lands that shot, it buckles Jan because it lands clean. And particularly it's landing around that back side of the calf, targeting that peroneal nerve. When you hit nerves instead of muscle, the damage builds up immediately rather than over time. Another shot. This one doesn't land clean, but it's timed perfect. Because if you look at Jan, look at when he's stepping, back foot off the ground, which means all his weight is on the front foot. It's timed perfectly. It's just, it doesn't get around the shin the way it's supposed to. So it actually gets checked, I think accidentally by Jan. And this is very important because we get to see some technical differences between Jan's kick and Alex's kick. And Jan is actually going to throw a non-Muay Thai kick in this instance, but you see Jan take a bigger step out with that lead left foot, whereas Alex just barely takes a slight step out. And so Alex's kick is all about non-telegraphing speed. It comes out as fast as possible. And you notice it doesn't come over at a diagonal angle or the downward angle. It's basically coming straight up. And so when that foot lands around the side of the calf or on the back side of the calf, it's hitting those nerves and really targeting that muscle as well. So as soon as they get out of that leg kick exchange, Alex starts backing up, Jan starts advancing, but Alex is waiting for him to advance so that when he plants that left leg, when he plants that foot, well, first of all, the timing is immaculate. As soon as that foot touches the ground, Alex is already getting there with his leg. That's perfect timing. And one thing to note about this fight, is that Alex is landing a lot of these kicks, but Jan, he's not just good at defending them, he's good at eating them too. If there was like a leg health bar in UFC in the game, his thing would be 199, whatever. He can eat a lot of these leg kicks. But we see if Alex lands just a few of these, Yuri, Izzy, a lot of other opponents in the past, they immediately start showing signs of damage. Jan is an exception. I keep comparing it to a jab because as far as kicks go, it's the closest thing to it. He doesn't really have to set his feet that much compared to other kicks, and it can just come out at any time. He's coming. We saw it when he was coming forward, like right now. We saw it when he was moving backwards. We saw it when he was moving laterally. I mean, that kick is capable of coming out at any time, which makes it really hard to defend and predict. Again, I noticed that pattern of him opening his hands, and I think, okay, I think he's waiting for something to happen. I think he's anticipating, and look, he's going to take this small little jump forward, and when he does, Jan is kind of reacting, but he's focused on what Alex is doing up top, and so Alex just sneaks that in after that jump forward. He just sneaks it in, and Jan's unprepared. I think it's also important to look at a moment where Alex's kick actually gets checked. And here you see when he's throwing that kick, his shin is now more horizontal. So he turned the shin over more, whereas before it would just come mostly straight up in a vertical line. Now it's more coming over in a horizontal line, which means Jan can just turn his shin out and he checks it perfectly as shin to ankle bone, which is very painful. And so I think there's three things that makes this move probably like most other unstoppable or hard to stop moves in combat sports. I think there's three things that makes this move possible. The timing, like we mentioned, he's so good at timing people's lead leg being planted so he can land and so they can absorb the full brunt of the shot. Him having no telegraph on the shot, meaning it's hard to predict, hard to see coming, hard to react to. And then the other thing is that it's damaging. Probably the most important part in having a great move is being able to win fights with it. How is it affecting your opponent? Whenever these shots is normally landing, even with Jan, he got hit with one of these leg kicks and he went for a takedown quickly after. I don't think he was badly hurt, but these shots were even affecting Jan. We saw them take down Yuri fast. We saw them hurt Izzy fast. It's not just having great timing and having no telegraph, being fast with it. It's also, is it damaging the opponent? And the answer is absolutely yes. And so that's why I'm saying this is one of the more unstoppable moves in combat sports. We'll keep it brief. Fights and Science, Immortality Serum out.